You're under threat, duress, and coercion.
You're not even listening. You're not even going to listen. I listen to what you said. Are you going to listen to me?
Well, go ahead.
Are you giving me permission to go ahead now, too, right?
I am here under threat, duress, and coercion to demand
You're not here under threat, duress, or
prove some kind of jurisdiction. And until jurisdiction has been proven.
In today's courtroom drama, Judge Perkins finds himself up against yet another sovereign citizen, convinced they've uncovered the ultimate legal cheat code. Seriously, do these folks really think they've found a magic loophole that makes them immune to the law? What's even more surprising, this guy actually sounds intelligent when he speaks. So how does someone like that fall headfirst into the sovereign citizen rabbit hole? Do they just wake up one day, stumble across a sketchy Facebook post, and decide, yep, today's the day I test my homemade legal theory in front of a judge? Next voice. Look, arguing bizarre legal theories as a sovereign citizen is one thing, but thinking you'll win by being flat-out rude, that's next-level delusion. My guy, Judge Perkins is literally the person deciding your future, and your master plan is to act like a tantrum-throwing toddler. That's like walking into a job interview and clowning the boss's haircut. What outcome were you hoping for? A promotion? At this point, he's practically speedrunning his way to jail, completely unaware of how reality works. And I can't help but wonder, does he seriously think this is some kind of video game where being disrespectful unlocks hidden rewards? Spoiler alert, it does not.
Pressing coercion. I'd like to say for the record, my name is Jamil of the family Lockhart.
Let's get the record established. This is the city of Detroit versus Jamel Amir Lockhart. Appearance for the record, please, Counselor.
Rita White, House Counsel, on behalf of Mr. Jamil Lockhart.
All right, Mr. Lockhart.
No one is representing me on my behalf. I don't know that.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Lockhart.
Yeah, so I am Jamil of the family Lockhart, flesh and blood, living man, and attorney in fact for Jamil Lockhart and Legis Trust. I'm here by threat, duress, and coercion. I'm here making a special appearance, and I'm here to demand that the court prove jurisdiction over me as a live flesh and blood man. As I said, I submitted a challenge to jurisdiction. Jurisdiction must be proven and proven on the record. And then also I submitted Freedom of Information Act request for your foreign registration statement and anti-bribery statement, as well as that of prosecutor. There is no contract. Every presentment that was made to me was formally rejected and sent back to the court, which is what you have a copy of, by my notary. I do have a live witness notary who can come in and testify to that fact. Given that there is no commercial contract, no commercial agreement, I fail to see how the court has jurisdiction. Furthermore, there's been no injured party, and no, there's been failure to state a claim through a verified affidavit. So if someone can prove to me how this statutory commercial court has some kind of jurisdiction over me as a live flesh and blood human being, I think we could start there.
Well, let's start here. You have a notice is not what you think notice should be. Notice is what is if it's properly effectuated in the courtroom. And I'll certainly give you whatever hearing that you want if you file the proper motions and material to contest that. I'll give you an opportunity to be heard on that. But furthermore, what I'm looking at is I have a proof of service.
There is no proof of service that was rejected and sent back to the court. You have a copy of that.
You're not even listening. You're not even going to listen. I listen to what you said. Are you going to listen to me?
I am listening to you. I'm just responding to you.
All right. So why don't you listen before you start making statements?
Oh, you had paused. I thought you were finished.
What it isn't.
Well, go ahead.
Are you giving me permission to go ahead?
Man, nothing grinds my gears more than sovereign citizens screaming that the court has no jurisdiction. Like, bro, do you think saying it out loud magically makes it true? That's not how any of this works. If you really believe that, you'd file a motion, present some evidence, Do literally anything other than running your mouth. But nope, they'd rather waste everyone's time arguing with the judge, as if that's somehow going to make the case vanish. Let's be real. His whole strategy is just stalling, dragging things out, and praying the charges disappear. Well, bad news for him. He messed around and found out. And the best part? He wasn't done embarrassing himself. Judge Perkins made sure he waited until the very end of the docket, and when round 2 rolled around, yeah, it went even worse. Stick around, because you need to see just how much deeper he dug his own grave. But first, what do you think? Because this one is wild.
Envelope with certified mail. I don't know I believe the contents have been stapled to the envelope. It's got a proof of service effectuated by Nyla Perrin. I have a signed complaint here, signed by Officer Randy Randolph on 11/19/2019.
Is he here today?
And we can get him in here. Today is only date and time is set for arraignment. So you're just being arraigned, and what the arraignment purposes of the arraignment, and let's go through the whole thing, is you're here for a expired plate ticket. That is a civil infraction that carries a $145 fine. There's an allegation that you did not have a drove while license not valid or improper. That is a misdemeanor offense, punishable by 93 days at the maximum by 93 days in jail and or $500 in fine. On the same date and time, there was an allegation that you did not provide proper insurance. That is a misdemeanor, as it's written here, and that is punishable by the maximum possible penalty of 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines. There's also a warrant for your arrest for an allegation of an improper, not valid driver's license. So today is the date and time set for arraignment. You have the option of pleading guilty, not guilty, or standing mute. You stand mute, I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. What would you like to do, sir?
I am here under threat, duress, and coercion to demand
You're
that
not
this
here under threat, duress, or
prove some kind of jurisdiction. And until jurisdiction has been proven, we can go no further. I would also like to ask you, is this proceeding taking place under common law?
This proceeding is taking place in accordance to the court rules and the statutory laws of the state of Michigan.
So I am not a creature of statute. I am not under statutory law. I would demand that this proceeding take place under common law, as I am a live flesh and blood human being, under no authority but that of God.
All right. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm going to give you another court date. I don't have any All
I need you to do is prove jurisdiction.
You don't tell me what you need me to do, sir. Don't do that. Just let me finish.
With all due respect, the court must prove jurisdiction.
I understand that. We can get this over with quicker rather than later if you let me do my job. What I was trying to say, you're making your claim and stating your case that the court doesn't have jurisdiction over you. In order for me to properly review that and go, it's got to be done according to the court rules. I need a motion, and I will read that motion.
I have submitted a motion to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
I don't have it. I don't have it in front of me. And then I'll give you a motion.
I have a timestamped copy of it if you'd like me to show you.
All right. You got to submit it to the court. Look at the.
It was filed by the clerk just 2 days ago.
Okay,
I have a timestamped copy of it.
It hasn't got to the file. I'm going to give you another pretrial date.
I would like to say I do not consent. The court has to prove jurisdiction. I filed that document a few days ago. Anything short of that is an admission that there is no jurisdiction and we have no further business. We have no contract.
The law really isn't rocket science. If you want to file a motion in Michigan, there's a right way to do it. Draft it properly, follow the court's formatting rules, file it with the correct court, And most importantly, serve a copy to the other party. And big shocker, I'm pretty sure this guy skipped that last step. You can't just drop it off at the clerk's office and expect them to handle it like your personal assistant. Once you file a motion, there's usually a fee, and if a hearing is needed, you have to schedule it. Skip those steps. Well, congrats. Your motion might as well not exist. That's exactly why Judge Perkins isn't having it. The court isn't there to clean up your mistakes. It's your responsibility to get it right. And honestly, if you can't figure that out, maybe, just maybe, it's time to hire a lawyer instead of wasting everyone's time.
You're still, did you have a question, sir?
None other than just stating that I do not consent to these proceedings and I do
You've
not
already
accept
put
any
that on,
of this
you've
contract.
already put that on the record.
Okay, good.
You came back in.
I would also like to ask why this Mrs. Rita White had claimed to represent me.
All right, let's go back on the record with Mr. Jamil Lockhart. How old are you, sir?
I am 27.
You're 27 years old, and you go ahead and you ask why Miss White is here to represent you. Well, first and foremost,
Why did she claim to represent me and I have no knowledge?
I'll explain to you. First and foremost, she's the House counsel for this evening. So for this afternoon, she represents anybody who wants her representation as far as helping them to navigate and to defend themselves.
I have never expressed that want to her.
Why do you talk over people?
Well, I assume we were having a conversation. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
I am trying to have a conversation, but one's got to talk and one's got to listen.
Okay, go ahead.
You asked why Miss White said she represented you. Miss White said she represented you because she didn't know beforehand the position that you were going to take. So she's just merely
quite an
doing
assumption.
her job.
That is quite an assumption. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, by the name that you put up on there, Jamil of the family Lockhart,
That is
I wasn't surprised I wasn't surprised the avenue that you were going to take on that. Just
I'm
by
glad
the
you
name.
recognize
But I
where
can't-
I'm going.
But she's not going to assume. I don't believe she's going to assume that she's going to treat you any differently than anyone else. And then you said that you didn't want her representation, and she.
Wouldn't you agree that for future reference, it might be better to ascertain that kind of information before she makes that kind of statement for everybody?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
So the assumption is that everyone wants her to speak on their behalf.
Yes, until
Is that not a rash assumption?
Until they say differently, like you did.
Okay. Well, again, this whole time, there's a motion before the court to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
Well, there's not a motion.
There has been what has been filed. I have a timestamp copy of it. I can show you that if you need to see it. But
Okay,
your clerk
let me
timestamp and filed that document.
Let me explain to you, and this is just for your information. You say that you filed it with the court and the clerk down at the window, and I wouldn't disagree with that. But typically, you want to, when you do your filings, that's why you want to have a judge's copy, and you want to specifically have that copy hand delivered to the judge's chambers. So we don't rely on the court clerks downstairs at the windows to make sure that these files get put into the proper place. You're not going to make.
Who do you rely on for that?
You're making, and because you don't want to make that assumption that that file is going to get into the correct file. You don't want to make that assumption. Would you agree?
Who do you rely on to make sure that filed documents get into the right place? Get into
the person that's filing it, yourself.
So it is not. You're telling me it's not the duty of the clerk to ensure that documents are filed in the case where the judge can